So hello everyone, so Sir Elvin here, and I'm going to teach you a lesson in English 9 and 10s, English 10s, so that I could help you more and I could help you understand your lesson more. But without further ado, let's start. Okay, so the most essential competency today would be to compose a research report on a relevant issue. So specific objectives would be to define an interview, identify the different types of interview, identify the steps in conducting interview. Okay, let's start. So what is an interview? So interview is a conversational practice where knowledge is produced through interaction between an interviewer and an interviewee or a group of interviewees. So let's define those first, interviewer and interviewee. So interviewer, the one asking the question, and interviewee, the one answering the questions of the interviewer, just like in the example picture. Example, we do this when we're asking, example, when you're doing a research and you want to know the experiences of people. For example, you want to know the experience of people during the 90s. So you can ask them. You can make them the interviewee and you as the interviewer. Okay. Now, these are the types of interviews. Informal or conversational. So here we have no predetermined questions are asked in order to remain as open as adaptable as possible to the interviewee's nature and priorities. During the interview, the interviewer goes with the flow. For example, we have here, gandang gabi guys. 'Di ba? Wala naman talaga siyang questions na naka-ready or basta go with the flow lang yung mga questions niya. Kahit saan mapunta yung conversation. Okay po. Next, we have general interview guide approach. The guide approach is intended to ensure that same general areas of information are collected from each interviewee. This provides more focus than the conversational approach, but still allows degree of freedom and adaptability in getting information from the interviewee. So basically, this is saying it's more of formal. For example, job interview, what are the most important questions? We have here the educational, about the experience of the interviewee. Okay. Next, we have standardized or open-ended interview. On the same questions are asked to the interviewees. An open-ended questions is wherein respondents are free to choose how to answer questions. They don't select yes or no or provide numeric rating. This approach facilitates faster interviews that can be more easily analyzed and compared. Okay, standardized, open-ended. They have, for example, they are given certain scenarios, and they're given certain scenarios, and they answer what they will do or and their reason that on why they would do such thing. We have close or fixed response interview. All interviewees are asked the same questions and asked to choose answers from among the same set of alternatives. This format is useful for those not practiced in interviewing. So basically dito man may mga binibigay ng options yung interviewer at doon na sila pipili. At for example, pwede din ma-explain kung bakit. Okay. Next, we have preparation for an interview. So we have first avoid lights or noises to ensure interviewer is comfortable. You might you might ask them if they are etc. You might ask them if they are. So for example, often they may feel more comfortable at their own place of work or at home. So for example, kung mag-interview ka, make sure na comfortable sila. So you can do it where? You can do it at their home or you can do it in cafes na konti ang tao. Di ba po? Next, we have explain the purpose of the interview. The interview will answer better if they know what is the goal of the research, especially if they're interested about the findings. So kung alam nila ang purpose, mas mag-a-answer sila. So yan, so kailangan yan. Kung para saan at kung kanino, para kanino. Next, address the terms of confidentiality. Note the terms of confidentiality. Be careful here. Rarely can also promise anything. Courts may get access to the information in certain circumstances. Explain who will get access to their answer and how their answers will be analyzed if their comments are used as quotes, get their written permission to do so. For example, so here example of some consent form. Pag nagkaroon kung consent form means binibigyan ka ng consent nung nagpa-interview na gamitin yung information sa research mo. And make sure na kung hindi naman kailangan malaman ng iba yung sinabi niya, huwag mong gamitin to against sa kanya. Okay po? Next, we have explain the format of interview, kung anong klaseng type. Explain the type of interview you are conducting and its nature. If you want them to want them to ask questions, specify if they're to do so, have them or wait until the end of interview. So, specify anong klase. Ano, kung yun, di ba, yung mga iba-ibang format, kung anong klaseng interview, and kung may question sila, sabihan na kung pwede bang habang or after na. Next, indicate how long the interview usually takes. Kasi kung sobrang haba, marahil may ibang gagawin pa naman yung yung gagawin yung interviewee, marahil mainis siya or maboard. Next, we have tell them how to get in touch with you later if they want to. So of course, if they're interested with the research or they want to know how did it go, syempre, kailangan nila mag-keep in touch. You can give them your number, you can give your email address or etc. Next, ask them if they have questions before you both get started with the interview. This is very important. So, before kayo mag-start, make sure na may na-clarify lahat. Kung may question sila, na-ask nila tungkol doon sa interview. Especially tungkol doon sa consent. Next, don't count on your memories. So, to recall their answer. Ask permission to record interview or bring along someone to take notes. So, basically, everyone, it's very important to take notes or record. But it can only be done if they have given you their consent. Kasi kung hindi, it would be unethical. Okay, that would be that. Thank you for listening and I hope that you learned something.